Thank you for watching that video, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video.
When I come into boxing, I didn't really come to kind of take part, I came to take over. And I'm not here to put on a show, I'm just here to win. I'm just really looking forward to putting on a show, and I'm confident.
What's going on, people? It's your boy Young Cantu coming in for Airshow Sports. We are getting so much closer to this big heavyweight rematch for the unified title between Andy Ruiz Jr. and Anthony Joshua, set to take place this weekend on Saturday, live on DAZN. For the people that don't know, this fight's actually going to be taking place during the middle of the day. I believe the ring walk for the main event is 2:45 Pacific time, PM. So that's right, just after noon, 3:45 PM Eastern time is when the main event is slated to go down. And fighters are now going through the media interviews and press conferences, and people are starting to see the energy and the confidence of both fighters come to the forefront in their body language and how they present themselves in front of the media. Now, I must say, going into this fight, more pressure is on Anthony Joshua to avenge his loss as opposed to Andy Ruiz having to replicate what he did the first fight. More pressure is definitely on Anthony Joshua. You think about it, he wasn't supposed to lose to Ruiz in the first place. Now he's got to come back, and there's more questions that Anthony Joshua has to answer in this rematch than questions you might pose to Andy Ruiz, because Joshua's going to have to make the adjustments. I look at this fight stylistically, and when I first heard about this fight, when the first fight took place, I automatically felt that it was a tricky fight for AJ. Now, obviously, Ruiz was a big underdog, and he still needed to prove himself at that stage. We still hadn't seen that from Ruiz, but Ruiz shocked everybody, and the way he beat AJ, basically beating him at his own game. Let's take a look at this. Now, to break down this fight, people need to understand that there was only one opponent that took Anthony Joshua the distance in his career, and that was Joseph Parker. Anthony Joshua won by unanimous decision, but it was a tricky fight for him. Parker's quickness and his reflexes gave AJ some difficulties. It was more or less a boxing contest. That was the only other fight we've seen AJ in where he's had to box. Most of the fights that AJ has won is because he's out-muscled his opponents, and he works on the inside. What people have to realize, and what AJ and his team don't realize, is now they're fighting a guy who actually is a better fighter on the inside than he is. That's Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz's bread and butter is on the inside, in that range where people trade, So stylistically, Andy is the kryptonite to what Anthony Joshua does well. And now we're in a position where people and most pundits agree that AJ is going to have to be on his back foot and fight and box for 12 rounds. Something he really hasn't been asked to do his whole career. I mean, it's not like AJ is some second coming of Tyson Fury or Floyd Mayweather-esque as far as boxing skill, defensively sound. He can't make those requisite adjustments to be able to pull it off against Ruiz. He's going to have to hurt and put Ruiz down if he wants to win this fight, because Ruiz's pressure, he's going to continue to come. And in my opinion, if AJ is going to box and try to stay on the outside, there's more questions about him doing that than if he were to stand in there and try to put it on Ruiz, because for one, AJ has always had conditioning issues throughout his career. He's gassed out in most of his fights where he's breathing heavy. Now, it just depends on which part of the fight that's going to be, and I guarantee you when that happens, Ruiz is going to go for his head, bro. That's my belief. That's what I feel. Ruiz is a style of fighter who he's got dog in him, so he's going to bring the fight to his opponent. But he is an intelligent fighter, and he is not irresponsible either. He knows how to take a shuffle step back and reset. He's got great timing, but most people are saying it. Ruiz is a boxer who has a low center of gravity. He's got fast hands. He counter punches. And, he's a good puncher, man. I mean, Ruiz is a world level puncher. He ain't here for no reason. So, from what I'm seeing in the interviews and press conferences, I just don't believe that Anthony Joshua can beat Andy Ruiz. I just think Andy Ruiz is a better professional fighter than Anthony Joshua. He's got his number. He knows how to hurt the man. AJ might look good for the first few rounds, but once it gets into the fight where the pace starts slowing down, Ruiz moves his head as he comes in. He shoots to the body. He cuts off the ring, and he knows when his opponent is in a position where they're vulnerable, and that's when he lets his hands go. There's not going to be too many moments in the fight where I see AJ getting out of trouble. He's going to have to pull something out of his hat. Like, if people are saying he has to jab and grab, hold on the inside, but Ruiz is not a guy you can manhandle, man. I'm telling you, dude. He's got a low center of gravity. He's a dog, man. He can grapple too, man. Oh my goodness. Ruiz is going to take this man's head off. And it's not that, over here we don't respect Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua's a good fighter, but this is the first real dog that he's seen in his career. And this is the first fighter, and you know how I know this? Because Andy told me himself. This is the first fighter that Anthony Joshua has faced that isn't timid or scared in there with him. His aura of invincibility, AJ's aura of invincibility is gone. Ruiz took it from him, so he's gonna be only more confident heading into this one. But Ruiz doesn't fight AJ scared, and Ruiz fights going forward, man. This is a fantastic style matchup, but one that I believe favors Andy Ruiz. And I think Andy also is a good boxer. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility for Andy to just be winning rounds, like pushing AJ back, dictating the pace, and dictating the fight. Anybody who has a pair of eyes can see that, Ruiz can outbox AJ. AJ is trying to do something that he has not been asked to do his whole career, and that's why Andy Ruiz is going to beat him. And like I said, Andy has not even shown his full arsenal of tools. He barely started going to the body in that 6th round. In that 6th round, he was putting on a show against AJ. So I think the first round is going to be a continuation of the last fight. I think Ruiz is going to be cautious, knowing that AJ's going to come with some fire. But once the pace slows down and both fighters are kind of into the mix as far as, they're breathing hard, I'm telling you, that's going to favor Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz has worked his whole life to get to this point, man. He's got his belts. He literally said he's willing to die in the ring. We just heard this quote at the beginning of the film. AJ is constantly contradicting himself. He says he doesn't want to put on a show. He just wants to win. But then he closed with a statement saying he can't wait to put on a show. I mean, the dude knows deep down he's going to get his ass tore the fuck up by Andy Ruiz. Mark it down, guaranteed.